Hello everyone, welcome to iExamB. So as per our last discussion on significance and relevance of SEBI circulars for SEBI grade A exam, we will be continuing the discussion and we will be discussing some latest SEBI circulars through MCQs in this lecture. So let's proceed. Okay, so let's start. We will be discussing the questions, and these MCQs pertain to the SEBI circulars that are from October and November months. So let's start. The first question is, SEBI has issued a circular on reduction in the denomination for debt securities and non-convertible redeemable preference shares to protect the interest of investors in securities and to promote the development of and regulate the securities market. So the face value of each debt security or non-convertible redeemable preference share issued on private placement basis is reduced to what amount by SEBI recently. As you must be observing, this question is quite long because in actual exam it was also seen that certain questions were quite long and it was getting difficult for a student to read and understand the question and then answer what exactly is being asked, right? Okay, so let's come back to the question itself. So how much of the denomination of these particular securities in question have been reduced to? So the answer is 1 lakh, right? So answer is 1 lakh. Earlier it was 10 lakh as per the earlier circular which was issued by SEBI. So for that denomination was 10 lakh, but then SEBI had received various representations from various market participants and other stakeholders, and they had also expressed their concern that ticket size, particularly for non-institutional investors, it's very large, so which actually is a deterrent for them, and then also it restricts their ability to access the particular corporate bond market. So in order to widen the scope of this corporate bond market and in order to increase the liquidity in this market, SEBI has initiated this step where the face value is reduced to 1 lakh for securities like debt securities, non-convertible securities issued on private placement basis, and listed debt securities and non-convertible redeemable preference share issued on private placement basis, traded on a stock exchange or over the counter basis, right? Okay, so let's come back to the next question. What is the full form of DDPI, a document which is replacing power of attorney to be given by the clients to their stockbrokers for executing the transaction, right? So DDPI, a document, what is it full form that is replacing power of attorney? Power of attorney was actually given by investors to their stockbrokers to undertake various day-to-day transactions on their behalf, right? So in this case the answer is C, that is demat debit and pledge instruction, right? SEBI had actually come up with this circular in the month of April in this year about execution of this particular document for transfer of securities towards delivery, settlement obligations, pledging or repledging of securities for margin purposes, right? So then from July 1, stockbrokers will not be able to collect the POAs from new clients that they onboard. Instead, their clients will need to execute a document known as DDPI, that is demat debit and pledge instruction, right? So this will be replacing the POA, but it will not invalidate the existing POAs whose validity period is in force, right? And it has number of other advantages over POA, especially for tech savvy investors who want to do everything online, because the basic deterrent for POA was that it needs to be physically stamped. But in this case, DDPI, that can be digitally stamped as well, right? So next question is also on this only. Which of the following statements are true regarding demat debit and pledge instruction document? DDPI shall be executed only if an explicit consent regarding the same is given by the client, including internet trading. Yes, only when the explicit consent is there. It can be digitally signed by the clients and it needs to be stamped. It can be digitally stamped. So this statement is also not wrong, right? It needs to be sent by post. That is irrelevant. So the answer is So the answer is C. So DDPI shall be executed only if an explicit consent is given, needs to be stamped. Stockbrokers can overcome physical challenges of stamping by incorporating digital stamping of DDPI documents in their onboarding process. Okay. So for this circular also regarding this DDPI, wherein I told this document was for doing transactions, giving authority to the stockbrokers to do transactions of transfer of securities, pledging and repledging of securities. There is also like two kind of transactions are also added. Those are mutual fund transactions being executed on stock exchange, order entry platforms, and tendering shares in open offer. So these two transactions are also added in this circular to come within the scope of this DDPI document. Okay, so the next question, which of the following issues of securities shall be made through EBP platform? Electronic book provider. So before just reading the options, we will understand what this EBP platform is. So electronic book provider is actually a SEBI registered, recognized segment of any recognized stock exchange that provides a electronic platform for issuance of debt securities for on private placement basis, right? So this platform is easier way to increase the price discovery transparency, and also to help to remove the extra operational cost. So for that purpose only, SEBI has come up with certain guidelines in terms of as a circular for review of provisions pertaining to electronic book platform. Mainly the rationale of that particular circular is to just come up with certain modifications, and also to come up with certain guidelines to provide opportunity to the bidder, so that allocation should be based on the best bidder rather than the bidder who possesses the best technology in terms of the fastest bidding. It should be given to the best bidder. So apart from that, certain other modifications have taken place. It is regarding, so the eligible participants that can participate in this issue process on EBP platform are qualified institutional buyers, and other than qualified institutional buyer, any other person or buyer authorized to participate in the particular issue on the EBP platform can also be included, right? So the issue size of the securities to be issued on the EBP platform, earlier it was 100 crores or more. Now for the private placement of debt securities, and this is for debt segment, so debt securities and this one non-convertible securities like non-convertible redeemable preference shares, as we were discussing in the last question also. So for that, the amount is 50 crores or more. The issue size can be 50 crores or more, right? And also there are some other options, that issue of debt securities and these non-convertible securities on private placement basis by the issuers who are in the existence for less than 3 years, they can actually come up with the issue of any size. There is no limit of 50 crores. And also for banks and NBFCs for their capital, because you must be aware, if you have read the Basel norms, that these constitute the tier 2 capital of these financial institutions. So they also come up with these issues, then they also irrespective of any size. So that is, limitation is not there for 50 crores for them, right? And also private placement of municipal debt security, certificate of deposits, and commercial papers also can take place. So the only correct options among this is the option B, right? So these are the following issues of securities shall be made through the EBP platform as per the circular, right? Okay. So an eligible participant cannot bid for an amount more than how much amount through arrangers on the EBP platform. So there is also a restriction on that as well, that how much of maximum bidding can take place from one investor on this EBP platform in this particular issue size that is given. So that is also there. So eligible participant cannot bid for an amount of more than 100 crore or 5% of base issue size, whichever is lower, through arrangers on the EBP platform. So the answer is B. So what can be the maximum proportion of base size for anchor investors that can be decided by issuer at EBP, electronic book provider platform. So in this case as well, there is also an option for an issuer to go for the anchor investors, as we have seen in the IPOs also, that those issues are actually offered to anchor investors, so as to give the maximum, give the impression to the prospective investors that this is going to be the good issue for them as well. So that's why in this also anchor portion can be decided within the base issue size, that can be decided, and the issuer has the freedom to select the anchor investor for the selected anchor portion. So for this, the maximum anchor portion that can be decided in this case is 30%. That is, answer is D. So if the issuer opts for anchor portion, the same shall be suitably disclosed in the placement memorandum and the term sheet, which disclose all the suitable features of the issue in questions. So along with that, the relevant information that can be given about the anchor portion, that is maximum can be 30%, and the bidding is not allowed for anchor portion on the EBP platform, right? And the issuer will disclose the anchor investor and allocated amount to EBP with the placement memorandum and term sheet, right? Okay, so the next question is, the concerned credit rating agency shall intimate to the clients about the suspension, cancellation, surrender of their certificates within how many days from the date of order or from the date of request made to board, that is SEBI. So as we know that all these regulations of credit rating agencies, regulations 1999, SEBI credit rating agencies regulations, they actually provide about the cancellation, suspension or surrender of certificate or of registration of credit rating agencies. There are many credit rating agencies that are regulated by SEBI. So their certificate of registration can be suspended, cancelled or surrendered at any time for any reason. So within how many days, so from that they have to prominently they have to disclose on their website, these credit rating agencies, the order or the request, and they need to communicate to their clients within the answer for this is 15 days. So they will intimate to the clients about suspension, cancellation or surrender, whatever the case may be, within 15 days from the date of order or request made to the board, right? Okay, the next question is, an actively managed mutual fund scheme will not invest in more than how much percentage of its NAV in debt and money market securities which are rated AA of a single issuer. So there is also a circular regarding the same, that wherein certain changes have been made regarding the credit risk based single issuer limit for investment by mutual fund scheme, right? So these are for actively managed mutual funds. For this circular had come. For passively managed, circular had come in the month of May also, and the segregation is also made that mutual fund scheme cannot invest more than in what percentage of their NAV in the different rated securities of a single issuer, right? So in case of AA rated single issuer, rated securities of a single issuer, how much maximum is allowed? So the answer is B, that is 8%. So mutual fund scheme shall not invest more than 10% of its NAV in debt and money market securities rated AAA, or 8% of its NAV in debt and money market securities rated AA, and 6% of its NAV in debt and money securities rated A and below. So whatever the investment limits are provided, they can be extended by up to 2% of NAV of the scheme with the prior approval of the board of directors of the particular asset management company, right? So the overall compliance of 12% limit, that has to be they have to be adhered as per the mutual fund regulations. So okay, next question. Which of the following are permitted to participate in the exchange traded commodity derivative segment. So this is also one of the recent circulars that SEBI had come up with in order to decide who can participate in exchange traded commodity derivative segment. Category 3 of alternate investment funds and mutual funds, portfolio management services, eligible foreign entities, all of the above, only A and B. So basically our SEBI had come up with one circular in the year 2017 and 2019 in order to give access to of exchange traded commodity market derivative segment, and it had permitted AIFs category 3 because there are 3 category of AIFs. So category 3 AIF and mutual funds and also portfolio management services to participate in exchange traded commodity segment, right, in the year 2017 and 2019 respectively, right. So for that also this SEBI had also given permission to eligible foreign entities also in 2018 to participate in this particular segment. So for that matter, what are the eligible foreign entities? Eligible foreign entities are the persons resident outside India as it is defined under FEMA Act 1999, and also as a person who has actual exposure to Indian physical commodity markets, right. So certain other conditions are there. They should belong to a country which should be whose security market regulator and commodity derivative market regulator should be signatory to certain memorandum of association, or certain memorandums or bilateral MOUs with SEBI. They should be signatory to that. So this is a definition of eligible foreign entity. But this particular circular of SEBI that we are talking about, in this case, as there was no transactions that were seen from these eligible foreign entities, so they have been withdrawn. That particular instruction has been withdrawn and it stands repealed, that they will not be allowed now. So only category 3 of alternate investment funds and mutual fund will be allowed. And also this particular circular that has come up on September 29th regarding this. So whatever participants or foreign investors will be made to have an access to this exchange traded commodity derivative segment, that will be through FPIs, right. So answer is E. Okay, only A and B. Okay. So any entity operating or desirous of operating on online bond platform providers shall need to fulfill which of the following conditions as per the recent guidelines of SEBI. So there have been witness that there are so many online bond platform providers that are giving services, and they are selling listed debt securities and debt securities which are already trading in the secondary market. So they are dealing with that, like Golden Pie and all. There are several examples for the same. So SEBI has come up with certain framework for online bond platform providers, wherein certain framework is given to them that certain listed debt securities only will be dealt by them from November onwards, and it will also give a confidence to the investors because these bonds will be taken care of by the SEBI regulated intermediaries, right. And so for that matter, as the framework is only given for these online bond platform providers, so certain kind of conditions are to be met by these providers. So those conditions are the question is regarding those conditions only. So what are those conditions? So answer is A, 1, 2 and 4. Right. So obtaining registration as a stockbroker in the debt segment, that is also one of the conditions that they need to fulfill. The entity has appointed a company secretary as a compliance officer. Yes. The entity has appointed at least 2 qualified key managerial personnel with experience of at least 5 years. No, in this case condition is experience of at least 3 years in the securities market. That's why it's not a part of the answer. Entity has obtained a SEBI complaints redress system authentication and has put in place a well-defined mechanism to address grievances that may arise or likely arise while carrying out OBP operation. This is correct. So the correct answer is A, that is 1, 2 and 4. And why 3 is not there, I have given you the answer, right. So one last question is, in terms of Reserve Bank Commercial Paper Directions 2017 dated this, in which having net worth of what amount of higher are eligible to issue commercial papers. So what is this answer? So in this case, InvITs shall abide by, that is Infrastructure Investment Trust, they will abide by the guidelines prescribed by RBI for issuance of commercial papers. So InvITs will abide by the conditions of listing norms which are provided by SEBI under these regulations, and the issuance of listed CPs will be within the overall debt limit. These are actually the new circular, but according to the previous circular, they should have a minimum net worth of 100 crores. So these were some of the questions that we have picked up from the latest circulars from the month of October, November, or late September also it can be. October and November. So you can also expect for like we will be coming up with new latest circulars and MCQs on the same. So this is as of now this is it, and this is our 50-day study plan that classes for the same have started from 2nd December onwards, and due emphasis is being given in the live classes on the various aspects including the SEBI circulars also and the conceptual based topics, and the discussion is primarily on the basis through MCQ so as to increase your retention power and also the understanding. So do see that. So as of now this is it. All the best for your preparation, and if you like this video, please subscribe to iExamB channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. And if you have any query regarding any of the courses provided by us, you can contact on this number. Thank you.